everybody, and welcome to Parks Bros. It's Drew here, and we're doing another one of these awesome tier list videos. We did one for Magic Mountain. You can check that out in the top right corner right now if you'd like, if you haven't seen it. And that one took quite a while. Hopefully this will take a little less time this time, because we're talking about Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, which only has 10 coasters instead of 19. So hopefully it'll be about half the time, if not less. And we're also joined by a couple of awesome people, including our great buddy Mario from Mostly Coasters. Make sure you go check out his channel, and I'll leave links wherever they are. And of course, our great friends Dorian and Sammy are here as well. Sammy, you can remember from the last episode. She's also got an Instagram at QReview. You should go check it out.
You can remember it if you want.
Oh my gosh.
True.
It's a support.
But actually, I'm in the screen this time, thankfully. Last time we didn't know I would be kicked out of it. I thought it was going to record differently, but it didn't. So I'm here now, which is cool. But let's get right into tiering, and we're going to do this alphabetically, of course, because
S.
I'm boring. S. Oh, okay.
S.
So if you didn't know what a tier list is, it is pretty much a list of different categories and different rankings we would put for different coasters in this case. So like if we say something is an S tier, it is the top of the line. It's the star attraction of the park. And then if we say
The
something
bee's
like
knees, as the kids say.
yeah, or if we say something like B, C, and then maybe even D tier, we're talking about, more of a supportive coaster, or maybe even like a kiddie coaster, or just a bad coaster that doesn't really make sense at the park or something like that. So let's move right into it with our first coaster, Batman the Ride, which is actually the newest coaster in S&S 40 free spin. Where do you guys think this should rank in the park?
I have not ridden it yet.
I think the only person that's ridden it is actually Mario.
I'm the winner.
But I have been on an S&S 40 free spin.
You two have more credibility.
It's kind of interesting, dude. I feel like every time I've ridden this, there's always something that's slightly different. You can't even see my fingers sometimes. Slightly different. For the first few rides, it didn't have any of the scenery. No, it did not have any. I can't speak. It still had one of the freaking vehicles, construction vehicles on site, and so it didn't look fantastic. And then later on, they took out some of the fins on the lift hill that would rock you back and forth, which were really cool. So it's it used to be a little more unique than the other 40 free spins. Now it's a little more generic than some of the other ones, and it doesn't have doesn't flip you as much as the other ones. So I don't know. Since there's no F tier, I'd say B tier.
Okay.
It's good, especially for the park. It fits nicely.
That's fair.
Since it's pretty unique to the park and to the region in general.
Yeah,
frankly.
It's the only one in California. The only thing that was close was Green Lantern First Flight at Six Flags Magic Mountain. That's getting moved over to Montreal.
That's a completely different experience.
Yeah. It's completely different.
You can deal with it now.
I personally, after my one ride on an S&S 40 free spin at Six Flags Fiesta Texas, also theirs is called Batman as well. I would probably say this is it's pretty much the same, right, Mario? You've been on both.
Honestly,
maybe not ride experience wise.
I have Fiesta Texas 10 notches higher.
Oh, okay, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because it flips more.
Okay, fair.
So.
Personally, I would say, regardless, though, it's probably either a C or a B tier for me. It is more, it's a supporting clone coaster. I mean, it's not supposed to be the star attraction of the park or anything, but
but
it
that's
might
just
our
personal preference. That's us, and because we like the 40 free spins. For someone that doesn't, it would definitely be lower. But I'd say since there is no F tier, it's B tier. Because it kind of teeters between the two, but should be middle of the road,
Dorian, Sammy, anything?
No, I'm good.
You good with B?
Yeah, I'm fine with B.
Okay, Dorian.
B for Batman.
And as long as it's better than Green Lantern, I don't care where you put it.
Okay. B it is, I guess, for Batman. Wow, that's the same.
Wow,
for Batman.
B
What
for
happened last
Batman?
time.
Whoa.
Yeah, man. And speaking of B's,
Cobra?
our next ride is Boomerang Coast to Coaster, another cloned ride.
D.
I would say D as well. This is probably
it goes in D toilet.
Besides Green Lantern First Flight, my least favorite coaster experience of all time. Absolutely
same.
horrid experience on that thing.
One
Just
of knots is better.
super shaky, had full on like massive headache after riding it.
Hurts
Didn't
your
want to ride
back,
anything
too.
else. Yeah, it did that
I
too.
don't know
Yeah.
why boomerangs,
Um,
like at least the old ones, don't have like any sort of padding whatsoever.
Yeah.
They might as well be made out of concrete.
Well, it's interesting because like the first one in the region, at least in California, was at Knott's, and that one was completely like butter smooth compared to this
Well,
one.
yeah, it had been ages since I've ridden that, but I don't remember getting brutalized on that as much as
Yeah.
DK's.
Yeah, yeah. Because when
Yeah.
I first rode the one at Knott's, I was like, people really don't like boomerangs. I thought this ride's actually a lot of fun. It's really kind of cool, a different experience for everyone. But when I rode Discovery Kingdoms, I was like, oh,
Oh,
get it now.
Yeah.
I get it now. So I don't know. What do you guys think, Dorian, Sammy? Sammy,
It's
I know you
trash.
said D. Dorian, you said D too, right? I think we all said D.
Everyone immediately said
Okay,
D.
yeah.
To quote Mario, it belongs
Drew's
in
the only
the
one that
trash.
hasn't said the letter yet.
Well, I would say D. I already put it
There you
there. It's there. It is
It belongs
there,
there.
and it's gonna stay there.
If you've seen my video of top 10 terrible coasters, you'd know that this is my least favorite coaster ever.
Well, no, your least favorite's coming up.
Cobra, I hate it. No.
Oh.
No, I'm just
Cobra's
kidding.
better.
But moving on, Cobra is our next coaster. This is a family Zero Tivoli coaster. What would you guys say this tiers as?
C for
C.
Cobra.
Okay.
Honestly,
Mario?
I feel like the lack of an F tier is really messing up my judgment. I say C is fair. It's definitely like high C tier, but
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say C as well, just
Me
because I
too.
mean it is a family coaster. This is your first step up from a kiddie coaster
Yeah.
at the park.
Yeah.
And it's a perfect first step, I think, for that, honestly.
Mhm.
And it does its job very well, but that'll put it in C tier. And there's
yeah,
nothing
you just
wrong
can't
with
put it
that.
higher
Yeah.
than
Yeah,
C,
it's
I
just
don't
not
think.
gonna knock your socks off or anything like that. So
Anything but Boomerang.
yeah.
Fun fact,
Um,
I've stood in the track of the station cleaning trash before.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Nice.
Actually, that would be really cool if the ride
It was neat.
isn't operating or anything.
No, it was operating, I had to be quick. No.
Uh,
Dodging trains left and right.
Okay. All right. Next up, though, is something I think only one of us has ridden,
D.
which is Harley Quinn Crazy Coaster, which some people say is a coaster, some people don't. I personally don't think it's a coaster after riding Tidal Twister at SeaWorld San Diego, which is kind of the same thing. But yeah, I've seen Mario shake his head like nothing else.
This is just what happens during the ride.
Okay. So what do you have to say about it? Where do you guys think it tiers?
I love my park, but that's one of the worst ride experiences of anything I've ever ridden.
Okay.
Belongs next to Boomerang in the trash.
It belongs
Wow.
below Boomerang. Like, it's
Yeah.
disrespectful to Boomerang to put it next to it.
All right. Well, Dorian, you said D, right?
F.
Well, you don't have an F. All right. Well, I'm going to say personally, just because it doesn't run and it's been struggling to run at all, like,
I think that can influence your opinion on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
You
the
can't
fact
even
that it's
get on.
only, when it runs with one side. It feels like a maintenance kind
Nightmare.
of mess,
It deserves
honestly.
its own tier.
So I'm gonna put D. When I was there, it was supposed to be the commercial shoot last time I was there. That ended up not happening that day. No one went to the ride. No one, not even maintenance, went to the ride the entire day. Like, it was just,
Sheesh.
it was sad. It was pretty sad. But moving on to a more happy note, Kong.
Kong.
What do you guys think this should tier at?
It's the best SLC I've been on.
How many have you
I
been on?
actually don't hate it.
I've been on 4 or 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, cool. I
T3 is
still have
worse
not
because
been.
it like hurts your legs, and like you still get slammed back and forth. And like Sam and I were talking about earlier before we started recording was the fact that it doesn't really hurt your head too much. It's kind of just like that final brake run, like is so
Yeah.
abrupt that it
Mm.
slams you into your back a little bit.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
by far.
But
I
as far
actually
as
don't mind the ride experience at all.
yeah, especially like if you get a smoother ride on it, man, it
Mhm.
can have some fun forces, and it's a kind of fun layout. Obviously, it's not unique, but
It's
I don't
got
know.
something to it. It's better than Boomerang.
Okay.
That's for
Yeah.
sure. It has some of the better like as far as big over the shoulder restraints go, it has some of the better ones because they're
Yeah.
nice and soft at least.
Yeah, that's true.
Dorian, anything? Have you been on it?
No.
Okay,
No.
me neither. I have not ridden Kong in my 2 visits. Well, 3 visits, I guess.
It's also fun to
technically,
operate.
but I would love to get on it next time I go. Maybe hopefully that'll happen this year. We'll see. But I think personally it should be a C tier.
Yeah. I think
Even though
so
I haven't been on
too.
it, I know I can't really judge it too much, but it's another cloned ride. And I've never really heard good things about it, but at least it looks like an interesting layout, and it is really a supporting coaster for
Cliff
sure. I
rode
mean,
it-
especially with Medusa right next door, like it is the supporting coaster of the area.
Cliff marathoned it 7 times when he visited recently. So that just goes to show you that it can actually provide some pretty decent rides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
You
had
just
some
have to
A tier
ride
rides.
it,
I've had some
right?
F tier rides.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So
In your
C
F
is
tier.
fair.
C. Okay.
Yeah, I'd say C as well.
Any objections to C? Cool. That
Say
was
C.
nonverbal, but I'll take it.
Well, you asked for objections, so
True.
that's why I know
true.
how to
I
speak.
object.
I love how we're just
Objection.
agreeing on everything. Magic Mountain was
know.
such a cluster with
fist fight,
rides.
yeah.
We were like yelling at each other.
A tier alert.
Shh, spoilers. Medusa is our next ride, of course, right next door to Kong, the B&M Looper from the 90s. Where do you guys think this tiers?
A.
As much I want to give it S, just because like I love it.
Mhm.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think
I think
it's
an
not
A.
like elite. Yeah, it's A
Okay.
tier.
Okay.
Yeah.
A.
So 2 A's, 3 A's?
Yeah.
I just
Hey,
want to say
hey,
this
hey.
is my second favorite Floorless.
This is my
Behind
Same.
Brew
first.
Guru, and it's not
Yeah.
by much. It's
It's
pretty
tough.
tight.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing, super smooth.
Mhm.
Definitely the one ride that I'm for sure wrapping around the park to go to.
Oh yeah.
It's a great solid coaster, and I got to say it is one of the best in the park for sure. Probably the second best for me.
It could just be a little more intense. That's the reason I have
Oh,
Ruger
Yeah.
out
really?
of it.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I think we're all in agreement with A tier though.
Mhm.
That zero
Medusa?
G roll, whippity whip city.
Whippity whip city
That is
indeed.
very true. That zero G roll is amazing. But
Even
yeah,
first thing in the
super-
morning, first Zen ride of the day. You know what I'm saying? That ride op life.
Yeah.
Wow,
man,
I
oh man.
flex it even more. Why don't you?
Hey man,
But,
this is my park.
Yeah, it
Get
is
some
literally
write-up
it's-
videos
it
behind
is
If I can't
Mario's
work
park.
at it right now, I can at least have fun talking about it.
Yeah, that's true. Reminisce a little bit.
Reminisce.
But reminisce, that's an R word. What's next? Roadrunner Express.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
What do you guys think this tiers as? It is a Zamperla gravity coaster.
I'll hold back. I'll let everyone else talk
so-
I
first.
don't think I've ridden it.
It is the
Never
same
ridden.
exact model as Speedy Gonzalez Hot Rod Racers at Six
I
Flags
haven't
Magic
ridden
Mountain.
either of
Yeah, I
them.
have not ridden it.
What?
Really?
What?
Dude, I've ridden Speedy Gonzalez like 5 times.
Okay. Kitty
I'm just
coaster
Ridden it
saying.
warrior.
once.
I even have a shirt that says Speedy Gonzalez is better than Millennium Force. Thanks, Taylor at Coaster Studios. Thanks for that.
Speedy
merch.
Gonzalez is the original West Coast Racers.
Oh, okay. Theming wise, I
Gonzalez
guess.
Hot Rod Racers.
Because it is a body shop. Anyways, we're talking about Discovery Kingdom. Let's no. Leave that for last video, which you can check out in the top right corner.
Shameless plug.
I would say probably D tier, but that's just because it's a kiddie coaster. This should be your first
Yeah.
coaster at the park if you're, a younger kid, and
Yeah.
For me,
you're
it's-
new to coasters for sure.
I disagree. I think it's D tier because the fact that it's a
I
kiddie coaster
said-
and it's bad.
Oh well, I said D
Yeah.
tier because
I said
I
D
just
tier.
disagree with the reasoning, man. I do
Okay.
not think it should be your first coaster. I
Okay.
think Cobra is better, like Cobra middle row,
Yeah.
because the Zamperla gravity coasters, man, the laterals are violent and there's like no padding on the seats. Granted, there's none on Cobra
Yeah.
either, but it's a little more mild in the middle
True.
row.
True.
Mhm.
Just
Well, that's-
slams, man.
That's
I went on it
something
with like,
that
All you do is go in a circle. So.
Cliff brought up too in the last episode with Speedy Gonzalez. He said, I said, well, it's a perfect, kiddie coaster. It's made for kids. And he was like, well, I've even known kids that come off of these rides that are still like, wow, that was uncomfortable and that hurt. And
Yeah.
it's just kind of weird.
same thing
to
with
think
me on
about,
that, man. Like the second time I ever visited the park, Javi and I were riding to get her the credit, and she slammed like this little kid like was like, oh, this ride is so much fun. We go around on the second lap and he's like, I think I hurt my arm.
Oh,
I was like, Jesus.
Poor kid.
Does this ride go upside down?
Oh no. So I think we're all in agreement D tier, but that's more
Yeah.
just because it's a kiddie coaster. I mean, it's not the best thing, obviously.
Well, agree
but-
to disagree on the reasoning, but at least again, we all agree with the exact same place to put
Okay,
it.
cool.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm looking at the
This
tiers
video is
so
going to be
far.
over in 2 minutes.
Looking at the tiers though so far, it's well. I think we might actually have some struggling with the next two.
Mhm.
Yeah.
This is
Okay.
really interesting though.
Mhm.
We've got 3 coasters left, and we all kind of have a general consensus. I'm pretty sure of where this is going to end up for each of those coasters on the list, but just depends exactly where. I think is going to be.
I
The
think the
interesting
next two are probably
conversation.
the hardest so far.
Mhm.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure. And the next one, speaking of, is Superman Ultimate Flight, a Skyrocket 2 from Premiere, the first of its kind, actually. No comfort collars on this one, though, and it is also only 2 car trains instead of 3. So this is usually seen as the best Skyrocket 2,
Mm-hmm.
but
That's
honestly,
fantastic.
after riding both Electric Eel and Superman quite a few times, I don't know. If I really want to put one over the other, I can, but it's really not too
Have
much
you
of a
gotten a
difference
night
for
ride
me.
on Superman
Yes.
Yes.
in the front row?
No.
Yes.
Oh my god, it's
So good. I've
But,
got
like,
a night ride on Superman in the
so
rain
good.
in
You
front row.
have to ride it in the front row at night to get that amazing experience. Like it's just it's.
What are you
Am I
beast-splaining me?
Yes, I am beast-splaining you.
No, you don't
No.
have to.
Okay.
It's still a great ride during the
I
day.
still think it's a great ride during the day and in the
I
back
just
row
asked
at
out of
night.
curiosity
But yeah,
because
no, I've
that
not had a
cranks
front
it
row
up.
ride at night.
Mhm.
Just because like it has those lights in the tunnel that light up as you. They're like chaser lights,
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of. So cool.
It has a tunnel.
Superman is better than Electric Eel.
I mean, I would say that too, probably,
No
but not
comfort
by
collars
much.
in it.
Only
Yeah.
by
I
a
just don't
tiny
like
bit.
Skyrocket 2s that much.
I like
I
Skyrocket
feel like
2s.
Skyrocket 2s are like
I think-
underrated, man. I feel like this has to be
Yeah.
at least A tier. Like
I
they're
think
so good.
Yeah.
they are the second best clone, probably.
They're a
You,
fantastic
like, you
clone.
can barely rewrite it, bro. Come on.
What, with Electric Eel?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait, did I leave them
because Manta's right across the way.
Wrote it 15 times. This guy gets off. I have a headache.
I think I left that out of my top 10 clones. I messed that video up. I left a lot of stuff out.
It's all
Anyway,
Anyways,
good.
E
It's all
tier.
good.
dude, just
Um,
like the laterals going up and then the floater.
Dude,
and
the
then
hang
ejector
time.
coming off of the drop.
Now, for
and then
tier though,
Ejector,
Hey,
hang time.
we
A-
have 1
A
vote
for
for
me,
A,
dude.
2 votes
I'd
for
say
A.
A.
I would say B.
Really?
boo.
I would
why,
say
why
B.
B? What holds it back?
It is definitely a supporting coaster in the area.
In the
Easily.
area, yeah.
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 And at the park too. I mean, it's supporting Joker right next door.
But that's just because Joker is so good. It doesn't mean Superman is
But
bad.
Joker's the star of the show, you know?
I mean, A is still really high up, I guess. I mean, I can I can totally appreciate you thinking it's B. I just don't agree.
That's fair. Well, it is, majority rules. So Superman's going to go into A
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Can hear
actually
the comment
surprised with
section
that.
now.
with
Yeah,
Medusa.
people are not going to agree with that, but that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, I can see where it kind of aligns with Batman in the B category as well.
I mean, it's super high up for me, man. It's a really
I
fun
love
ride.
Superman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
But if this were its own coaster and it weren't like a clone ride, I think we would have more.
we'd
I
probably
agree.
feel a
Feelings
little
about it,
higher
yeah.
on it.
Yeah.
But capacity does hold it back. I
Yeah,
want to say
definitely.
that's a big thing.
It's the only one I've been on, so to me, it's its own thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fair.
You?
But next up,
No.
another ride that's very similar. Flash Vertical Velocity, formerly known as V2. This is another shuttle coaster, but it's an Intamin Impulse. And I got to say, by far the best Intamin Impulse I've been on. Sorry, Wicked Twister.
Easy.
You're not
It's
very
so
good
good.
compared to Flash. This ride is awesome. Love this ride.
Fantastic.
I'm going to be the controversial one with this tiering again. But what do you guys think this should tier as?
A.
Okay.
I mean, could be a B. It's like a very low A.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go A, man. I appreciate this coaster so much. Like anywhere you ride it, it gets such a different ride experience. Like, and
Very
that's what
true.
I
Yeah.
love about it. It has so
Yeah.
much rewritability.
Yeah.
You can ride it five times in a row in different seats and get a completely different experience every time. So.
Super
Oh, by
true.
far, yeah.
Dorothy?
Riding this thing in the rain is the worst. Well, it's the
Dorian-
worst in the best way.
Wait, Dorian, have you been on Flash?
Yes.
Lucky.
Well, where
That's
were
good.
you tier it?
I don't. uh, A.
You can say whatever you want. Say whatever you
A.
want.
Yeah, there's no judgment
That
here.
hang-
Really?
I mean,
Okay.
We put a
hey.
skyrocket at
When you're
A.
in the middle and you just get stuck upside down, it makes me happy.
Yeah, in the front when you get
It's
the full
beautiful
twist.
hang
The
time.
best, yeah.
It's so good.
I
So good
think
in so
Couple
many
rows
different
back.
seats, man.
It's my third favorite ride in the park, for sure.
Better hang time than a title twister.
Or a couple
Um,
rows back when you get stuck mid twist, and it's like the best thing ever.
Now, why I
Man,
argued
I could talk about this coaster for days.
why I argued B though predominantly for Superman was because this ride exists.
Okay.
Sure, Superman is different than other cloned rides in the US of the same model, right?
hmm
Sure, it's better. But V2 is so much better,
Mhm.
you know, and it's so different compared to all the other clones
Yeah.
of, you know, the Intimate Impulse. I mean, especially compared
Right.
to Wicked Twister, even though
Yeah.
that is a bigger model than most of the Intimate Impulses,
Well, right. Comparing
it's
it
still
to Wicked Twister.
completely different.
Yeah.
So that's
Ride
why I would
experience.
argue A tier for Flash. So I think we're all in agreement with A.
Yeah.
But that's why I would argue B tier for Superman, if that makes sense.
Mm.
'Cause
I
it's-
get that, but I still think Superman's A.
I mean, it's
as
still a
dumb as it
fantastic ride.
sounds.
It's still
Yeah.
a fantastic ride. But now we're wow, this was quick
Down to the final boss.
and kind of
Quick,
easy.
at
actually.
Sidewinder Safari.
Well, okay, let's talk about that actually. If Sidewinder Safari was open right now, where would you
Okay,
guys
for
tier it?
sure.
See,
I don't
I
know
have
enough.
no idea.
I haven't been on a Zamperla Wild Mouse spinning
Neither.
model, so
Me
Oh, I
neither
have.
either,
I've been on
man.
one at the fair.
I've been on one at a fair, yeah. And they're C.
see, okay.
Yeah, I would say
I've been
C
on sort of
too.
like
It's fun getting spun around.
I've been on a Chinese knockoff one in Croatia.
Oh, okay,
A
okay.
lot of internationalness going on
That's
with
kind of
that.
weird because like Croatia's right next to Italy. That doesn't just the shipping cost would be so low, and they're both part of the EU.
Yes, but
It
golden.
was probably secondhand.
Yeah.
I say knockoff, but it's a company that has actually produced like a few of them, so it's not like Golden Horse or anything like that.
Yeah.
Regardless, besides the point, I'm assuming it delivers a very similar ride experience, like just from seeing POVs of Zamperla Wild Mouse coasters. So
Mhm.
that being said, I don't know where to put it.
See, we just
I mean, guessing I would either say C or B. Probably more towards C.
Yeah. Again, not having the F tier, man.
But it also totally depends on the ride you have. Because if you have a lot of spins, B. If you have not so many spins, C. You know, it's one of those things. It's such a hit and miss with spinning rides, especially. So probably C though. I think is
Yeah.
what we're all thinking
C.
for
It
Sidewinder.
doesn't
I'm
really
gonna
spin
say
that well.
I'm gonna say C.
Okay.
C.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, if I had a picture of it, I'd be like, click, drag, cool.
Photoshop
But next up, the official end of this tier list, Joker, the
J
RMC hybrid coaster.
J tier.
My ride for all of
Um,
4 weeks before.
Actually, look at that O right
Closure.
behind you. That O on your logo. Hmm.
Oh, this way.
The other way. Yeah, it's from
Wow.
Joker. I would say personally, you know what? I'll let you guys go first.
I say S tier, not even just as far as the park is concerned. I say S tier as far as all
Just
coasters
general.
are
Well,
concerned.
Yeah.
considering it is in your logo, it's in your top 10. So
Mhm.
we
Yeah.
know what you think.
And I have bias for it being the. I mean, I have biased for it like before being the lead for it. So, I think it's fantastic.
Okay.
I have no complaints about it.
Cool. Dorian,
Yeah.
same.
Yeah, I'd say in relation to the park and just in general, I think it would be an S tier.
Okay.
I think it just really delivers a solid ride. I know
Cool.
it's kind of hated on in the community, but personally, I think it's like it delivers pretty well. Like the theming's pretty decent, and
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
I find it so funny. It's like people are always talking about, oh, it's the worst RMC, but like the worst
So,
RMC is still
yeah.
fantastic.
yeah,
right.
exactly.
It's still amazing. And it's still worth the 7-8 hour drive for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It has a ton
yeah.
of variety. So while it's like inferior to Twisted Colossus in like almost everyone's eyes, it is still a very different experience. So.
It is.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I feel like.
Besides Iron Rattler, it is the most different RMC hybrid I've been on.
Mhm.
It's really unique. Yeah.
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 Dorian, you haven't said anything.
All right, Dorian, spit it out.
Watch him be like D tier.
In relation
It
to
belongs
the
in with
park,
Boomerang and Speedy Gonzalez.
in relation to the
Roadrunner
park. Okay, Sammy, never
Sorry.
mind.
Sorry.
Speak.
Speak now, forever hold your peace.
I will forever hold my peace because of you. I'm just kidding. No. Anyways, in terms of the park, in terms of everywhere, A.
Okay.
That's still fair. I mean,
Yeah, I think
I
that's
can
fair.
see. It's not
Yeah,
like
definitely.
But we are talking about the park itself. We are talking
Yep.
about Six Flags Discovery Kingdom.
Ooh,
So,
I'm not really
um,
discovering any kingdoms, but
but
you have 9
It's
minutes left in your call, apparently.
yeah, I know.
That's
So we're in
tier.
Animal Kingdom.
But I would probably say S tier. I think
Yeah.
we're all in agreement, right?
Mhm.
This was easy.
I know, dude. Like no one disagreed with anything.
Well,
The
I
most
disagree
was,
with
like,
your
half a
Superman
tier.
placement, but
For
whatever.
Superman.
That's what I mean, dude.
Why am I always
like,
disagreeing with Superman? I disagreed so hard
You
with
don't like
Superman last
Superman.
time, and
Hmm.
then
You just don't like Superman, dude. It's
yeah, I
okay.
guess.
Really don't like Superman.
Well,
It's because you're the boy wonder.
what?
Wait,
Okay.
that's not the right.
Okay, final tiering. Anything we'd change? Don't put
Joker,
Kong at S. Don't do
Harley
it.
Quinn in F. Make its own tier.
Well, I
Deserves
can't make
it.
its own tier.
It
I already
deserves
made the
it.
tier.
Photoshop in a tier and just put Harley Quinn down.
Oof.
No,
No?
I like the way that looks, man.
You're
Yeah.
gonna like the
It's
way you
odd
look.
shape.
The fact that there's only one MB is messing with my OCD so much.
Yeah, it's really bizarre compared to Magic. Like Magic Mountains was like kind of even, and then it kind of narrowed up. Where this
Yeah.
is narrowing out.
I mean, honestly, that's what I
And-
expected. That's how I feel. Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry,
I
go
think
ahead.
that's fair. Huh? What? Cool.
Everyone was talking and then no one was
30
talking.
seconds.
Oh my gosh! But yeah,
Um,
I think this is pretty accurate.
I feel like
Considering.
Discovery Kingdom has like really good rides and then bad rides. I
Yeah.
feel like there's not a ton of in between. I feel
Yeah.
like Batman really is that in
Batman.
between. And
Yeah.
then Sierra Sidewinder. Nope. Sidewinder Safari is
Safari.
definitely going to be that next in between ride.
Yeah, that's definitely
So-
going to be another in-betweener, which I think is perfect for the park.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because it's really weird because you have like 4 rides that are really amazing, and then you have the rest of the rides, which some of them aren't really
Yeah.
noteworthy, some of them are pretty fun, and then some of them are just not very good in general.
Terrible, yeah.
But it's super interesting to see it out, all tiered up like this.
I honestly don't think people are going to disagree with like the overall like halves that these rides are placed in.
Mhm.
I think most
Mhm.
people will think Batman is right in the middle. I think most people will think the rides that are on the bottom are on the bottom, and I think people are going to think the rides on top are at the top.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, some people
The
might
exact
disagree.
placing, but
Yeah, with like,
Agree,
oh,
but-
this should be a B instead of A, or this should be an S instead of an A, or this should be a D instead of a C. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're all pretty much in general consensus about how we
we're
feel
so
about.
consensusized.
Speaking
Yeah.
of the consensus, did you do the consensus yet, Drew?
No, okay, all right.
I can see the comments now. Put Joker in D tier.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, actually, speaking of which, if you guys would like to put down in the comments below, make sure to let us know what you guys think of our tier list and what you would tier the coasters personally. I'm totally excited to see what you guys say. But of course, thank you all for joining on this little fun tier list of Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. It was a lot of fun to agree.
For once.
I know. It was
Whoa,
so
I know. I feel like
fun.
doing Magic Mountain first really got us in the.
Yeah, well, Magic Mountain,
Yeah.
you'll see, guys, when
Alright.
that comes out. We were arguing like nothing else for some things.
I mean, you were
Oh, I
arguing
can
for
see a
Superman.
future
Well,
video in your
Dylan was arguing about X2 and Viper a little
That's
bit
true,
too.
yeah.
So
Wait, Dylan was
Yeah.
in the last one?
yeah, he was.
What?
You didn't show up?
Dude, I could have argued so much about Magic Mountain.
Well,
So-
too late.
Should do one
At least I have like a
too.
couple more years added to my lifespan from having to deal with that.
But we will be doing more parks tier lists in the future, including even some parks that we've never visited, because I think that'll be really interesting to do. Mario and I for sure will be doing one on Cedar Point. Maybe have Zach and Garrick join us.
That would be fun.
I would
Cedar
love
Point
to do a
one.
tier list of that. And then, of course, Knott's Berry Farm will be coming up. SeaWorld San Diego. Disneyland, we're going to tier every single ride, and that probably is going to be like 2 hours long. It's going to be something. But I want to say, again, thank you guys for being on, and thank you all for watching. It means the absolute world. Make sure you go check out Mostly Coasters on YouTube and Instagram. And, of course, I'll leave some links for Dorian and Sammy down in the description below, including Q review on Instagram. So thank you all again so much for watching. I keep saying it a lot, but I really mean it. But until next time, we'll see you on the next ride.